that's right. You guys are. I'm on the wrong microphone. My button won't work either. Just having a heck of a time here. Yeah. All this new technologies. Just sometimes it doesn't work. But anyhow, we are here. It's 10:04, 15 seconds after the hour, and we are going to get in Drift Anishinaabemoin language radio show. So if you guys want to stand by, grab your notepads or anything else that you're using to take some notes. Also want to remind everybody that we are. The audio quality kind of is not there right now. We thought we had something figured out for today, and I'm very disappointed. Anyhows, we're gonna press on, and let's see. We usually start out, like I said, with our introductions, and I'm gonna go into mine, and I'll just let you know that Mashkubanes Indigenous cause. Migizi, Nindun Dame, Onanami, Zaagi'igining, in Doon Jaba. I'm from Lake Vermilion over there. The eagle is my Dame, my clan, and Muskobanes, or Redbird, is what the spirits call me or know me as. And Nanamidna, Nan, Nibabun Nagis. And that is how many winters old I am. We should leave that as a quiz question. How old is Mishkobanes? Nanamidana, Nan. Yep, Bebonikis. Maybe we'll use that. So keep that in mind if you're taking notes. Nanamidana, Nan, Nibabonikis. And let's see, Bungi Etda. Or Etta Go, Netta, Anishinaabemoin. I know a little, and I'm not going to say that I'm an expert or anything. I'm learning right along with you guys out there. And also, let's see here, we've got in the studio our one of our other hosts that we used to have on the air, and I really enjoy having him on the air with us, Nashkibanes. Gini Tum,
Nashkibanes Indigenous cause. No corner do them. Speak when he's arguing in Doon Jaba. Niminwendum, Maya. Kagewunu Kintum.
Ani ne Pete see Nashkibanes.
This Simidina Ashibajik Babunigis.
Anishmanik ni Johnson Gitan.
Nano ni Johnsuk.
Tell them what's your Indian name. That's my culture. You see the nest on the back like a.
Oh, so my wife is Jessie Drift or Margaret Farmer. That's her name too. Great grandma. She gave me that spiritual name, and Thunderbird gliding down from the sky. And I'm 31 winters old, and I have 5 kids on Bear Clan. It's good to. I said I'm happy to, or glad to be here today.
You could say different ways. No comments indigenous cause. Asabikone, zaagi'igining, Doon Jaba. Kabe nika ne. Kabe is a long time. Niki Babi Oma. I lived here a long time. And I'm 77. You say 7. Basic niche this way, name non name das way, niche wasway. So we would say 7 niche wasway, ashi niche wasway. That's 7 and a 7. Every is. And today, Nungum, Minoki, you got Nungum. Panginudin. Panginudin. Sinabi, Pangi. Little bit is Pangi.
Aquaching.
Virginia, outside of Virginia. And I want to bring a nice thought into you before I start something here. Never go to work in a nookie. Never go to work with you being mad at somebody or somebody being mad at you. Try not to do that. Well, you shouldn't be mad at anybody anyway. Sometimes that goes and makes you kind of feel sad because you had words with that person. And especially your parents. You should never do that to your parents. Because they're getting old now, or your mom or dad. You should try to be nice anyway. Never can tell what's going to happen. That's all I wanted to give. And we got Nashki Bines here, Jabba, this morning. And we're going to talk about some stuff. Me, him, and Nashki Bines and Scobinese. There's so much. See, you can see a Bineshi, like Bines. That's the end of a name, bird, like red. Scobinese, red bird. And Nashki Bines, you could see look like a bird. And there's a lot of Indian names with Bines at the end. But there's a lot of Indian names out there with things that are behind it, like Ashik, in like Mizanobi tongue is on the back of a name, Bines, and like Gig, how do you say that? Dog in the book. They're different. The girl and the men's are different. They have different endings in the Indian name. Like a girls would be Binesik, and a boys would just be Bines. And like my granddaughters are Sheik, Al-Shadea Sheik. And there's Beba Mashik.
And Jay's is Beba Mashian.
Yeah.
The male, that's like the male version, right? Or the
Yeah. That's how you can tell a boy or a girl.
Sheik and
And what is Jay's name again?
Beba Mashian.
Beba Mashian.
Almost sounds like Elena's Beba Mashik.
Yeah. Beba Mashik and Beba Mashian.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many names. Back in I think it was 1959 when there was like Harry Bonus, Frank Venner, Ray Drift. Them guys were still around, and they were talking the language to each other, And then after they passed away, then it just quit. So probably in the early 60s, it quit. Our language quit.
Early 60s?
Yeah. You would see them. That's all they did was talk the language to each other. They never talked English. And that was good to hear. Harry Bonus would come up to the Head Start where Betty was working and I was working. And he'd talk Indian to us ladies up there. The ones that he knew were Indian. Well, there was only one, was Mrs. Teska. She worked in, he'd even talk Indian to her and he'd laugh at her. And he'd bop and ma, that lady, but it was in a good way. And we would be in there touching that. Well, no, we weren't touching it, but monkeying with the food, and he'd say, Gego gupchuin down. That means don't, you're going to get it dirty. Gego gupchuin down. And that just stuck in my head too, what he used to say.
Gupchuin down?
Yeah, that means you'll get it dirty.
Gego gupchuin down.
Yeah.
Oh, you hear wee nut in there.
Yeah, that's dirty. But now we not dang well, we has a dirty face. But now we not dirty. But then he would say, Gego, don't. You don't touch that, you'll get it dirty. Gego. Everybody knows what Gego means. Gego gupchuin down. But I was just thinking, kind of sad because I know that our one old man is gone. You know, who is he? I think we only have like Pete Isham yet, and he gone here. There, Pete Isham lives on the res. He knows a long time ago. And but Hank, I don't know where he lives, but I'm telling him. I wish we could get them to come and talk about what they know, you know. But you know, I suppose we'll be forgetting everything unless we don't have it down, you know. Because I don't know, I'm kind of not worried, but I've been, you know, just thinking about what will happen, you know, in the future. So I hope when they have that meeting on the 31st, there'll be people coming there, at least all the baby elders coming to put in their ideas or whatever.
Oh, speaking of which, yeah, so next Wednesday, May 31st at 2 p.m. we have a language revitalization meeting. All are welcome to come. I've gotten messages from Nicholas DeShaw and Randy Gressick from down in the cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul area. They want to show up and offer their input and what they think. So, you know, so I'm hoping for a good turnout. I just want to be able to sit there, ask questions, because I think Charles Grola too expressed interest in coming. And these guys have, like you have 40 plus years of teaching the language. They have about 10 to 15 plus years. So, and I'm just starting out. I have 6 months under my belt. So I just want to ask questions and gain insight into what works, what doesn't work, teaching wise, you know, so I'm hoping have all you there.
I think too, I'm gonna ask Bejan to come, because he works with kids, and maybe Danelle, she works with the Boys and Girls Club, and maybe Stephanie, she works at Head Start. You know, she's trying hard to do things with the little bitty kids for language, you know. And she's really good at it. We can ask Anne to come. She's at Head Start.
Rhiannon Strong too.
Mm-hmm.
She helps with the language up in the Vermilion teaching, or the daycare or Head Start, I think.
We just hope we have some people coming, you know, even if they are from different reservations, come up and give ideas, and you know, everybody can, you know, maybe we will get some of it back, you know. And like me, I can feel myself getting old really, you know, fast. And so we don't know what's going to happen day to day.
Yeah, that's so important. I think that people, you know, remember that, you know, we don't last forever,
No.
you know, and even just being a baby elder, I mean, everybody's got health issues, you know, and so very important. I mean, we've lost so many of our elders, you know, at such a young age, you know, just in their 50s, 60s, you know. We're kind of lucky to have some that lasted as long as they have, you know. And I hate talking like that, but you know, it's reality. I mean, we got to get, you know, this knowledge or share what we've got anyway. And I like that Jay is doing those roundtables.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you know I learned a lot sitting down with who was that, the Buckanaga guys over there in Tower. Even though they weren't, they're not originally from here, but they shared a lot of their experiences growing up in a traditional way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we could, you know, we're all, I like this guy that everything he said, that's what the same thing our reservation went through about Sama, you know, this Amik,
Larry Smallwood.
yeah.
Yeah.
And everything well, him and Lester were good friends when they were going to college in UND, and that's where Lester met him. And they talked back and forth, and you know. But like, there's a lot of stuff I didn't tell my kids yet or my grandkids, and like something it'll come up and I'll think, hey, that's right, that's what we did, and I never brought it up to my kids or grandkids yet, and I gotta bring it up to them before it's too late, you know. Before, you know, that's what they say. A lot of elders are taking things with them when they go, you know, where they never get to share them.
What I would also encourage, you know, for a lot of the young people that are out there, especially our young ones, you know, we have our phones, right? So you're able to record either on video or you're able to record on audio. You know, take those out. I mean, of course, give tobacco and all that, and ask your elder or whoever you're talking with, you know, for permission, you know, to record, because you'd be surprised how good the recordings are that come out of these camera phones, and you know, of course, they're tuned to the human voice, and so the quality is really good. It's kind of hard to get some of these old schoolers to figure that one out, but you know, it is helpful if you can record and document, or at least keep in your family, or if you want to share it, if it's something that your elder is comfortable sharing with the community, or publishing, or however it is. But you know, just talk with them. I'm sure they are. I know my mom, right? She just been like telling stories like crazy, you know. So we'll hear all about, you know, our uncles, her grandpas, all of that, and you know, it'll just be out of the blue, you know, and I have to go and reach for my phone, and I put it out there, and you know, try to listen to her as long as, you know, as long as she wants to go, and then but that's really filled with a lot of information that I had never known, and I know it. What's nice about it is it gives you a sense of place, you know, like with your own family, and connected in that way. And that's what's important, you know, about building community, is knowing who your neighbors are, and who your grandma and grandpa grew up with, and you know, how you're related. I think that's kind of missing here, actually, in the village, you know, where there's families that you know, have young ones, and then you know, they don't interact as much anymore, like in the past, you know, where they would call a community meeting, you know, just by somebody yelling out, you know, going outside and saying, you know, we're gonna have a meeting about this, you know, tonight or tomorrow or whatever it was, you know, and then the whole thing that you brought out about everybody bringing their own plate and their own fork and spoon, you know, and bucky, Paduckie, yeah. And so, you know, a lot of that stuff, I know it just, I don't know, it sounds old fashioned or whatever. That's the way my daughter used to describe it. Oh, that's just old fashioned. And I'm like, well, you know, it might be, but you got to remember maybe that it is, and maybe it don't apply today, but you got to remember why they did it, you know, and that was just to kind of be with one another, you know, and to discuss these things as a group, just like your meeting next week, you know. For the language, it's really important that everybody shows up, even a lot of the new people, you know, that maybe just starting, maybe they don't even know Boujou, you know.
Yeah.
Come on up, you know, and let us know, because you know, there's a lot that we can do here on the radio, and you know, Charles or Greshik, or what was it?
Shaw, Nicholas.
Nicholas.
Yep.
I would love for them just to do, you know, projects. If they want to do more language, if they want to do more talking about the language or teachings that we could do right on the air, you know, and they could record them wherever they're at, and then they could just send them up, and we'll air anything that Bois Forte band members want to share.
Yeah.
Like that's what we did, Ted. Maybe whole Lester was alive then when we went with other reservations to work at the school thing. Like how the Indians were low wages and drop out of school and, you know, all this. And we had this done at Mille Lacs, and where all the other tribes got together, and we were there. And we sat in, and, you know, they invited people from different reservations that were interested in the culture and the language. And another thing I was thinking about was at Lakehead University. Every summer they have a 3-month course, and to learn your language and you know, just work with kids in school, and that's where we went. Joanne was an education director then, and she got us all to go. There was just only 3 of us though that wanted to go. All 4, Donlyn, Carlene, and Rosemary, Clara, me. That was it. 5 of us went there and stayed during the summer. And, you know, and we stayed in them dorms.
Yep.
And the education paid for our getting our degrees, and that's still going on now. It's still going today.
Mm-hmm.
If we had a good Indian educator, you know, they could do that for the young men here that want to go down and learn, young ladies. That would be a good place for Stephanie to go this summer, just to be, you know, then they would get her to work with elementary. You know, we didn't have to pay for that. Education paid for it for us to go.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish they would do something like that, you know. I think we're the farthest one down from anything on our, and pretty soon when I go there, you know, there ain't gonna be, well, there'll be you and Perry and Jay and, you know, Switch and Jazz, you know,
Yep.
Stephanie, and there's a lot of people out there that know the language, but they won't step up to talk it, or even, you know, or even try tried to, that's what I wrote on there. Roxanne, goggle-eyed. She comes and I'll talk Indian to her and she'll talk Indian to me, you know. Back when she's Brian Jr. If I was home every day when he came there, he would probably be know a lot because I talked to him yesterday and when I'm home, but when I'm working here, when he brings my meal, I'm not there so I can't talk to him. Or I tell him a little story of something. And like I give him a teaching and he listens for a few minutes and then I'll tell him, Sina nungum, no din, you know, cold and windy today. And I'll say, and then he'll say, talk back in Indian to me when he goes, has me my food. I'll say, me greski ki binan and we sin thank you for bringing my food. And then he'll, when he goes, he'll say, oh, Giga Wobbleman, you know, I'll see you. And I want him to learn more because, you know, he's a young man. He should, you know, be one of our, I said, keep it up, use what you know on other people. You will be helping to get our language back. I said, Anishinaabemoin, Skunigan. Nobody speaks Indian on our reservation. Anishinaabemoin, Skunigan. Are we ashamed of our language or what? Once we get it started, it will not quit. Once somebody starts speaking, it'll catch on just like everything else catches on, you know. Giabi Nibal dandelions, I said, they're still sleeping. And, you know, Vijinago, they were bright, you know, but, you know, just one or two words can start you up on your language. You and Jay are putting this talk on then on the 31st?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I hope our grant writers are there too, or anybody that knows how to write grants. There is funding available that's out there. We just need to, I suppose, come up with a plan or, you know, tailor a plan, you know, to as a community, you know, and show the importance of the language. So, like I said, I encourage anybody and everybody to come on down. And that's next Wednesday?
Next Thursday. Or is it Wednesday?
I think it's Wednesday. Let me see, 31st. Yeah, Wednesday, May 31st.
Okay.
2 p.m.
Right on. Be there, but don't be square.
Should we do a translation real quick?
Yeah.
I think I got most of it. But
Perry's going to do some translations.
okay, Charles Garola. Nindaya o mao denung uga kaning. I'm at the back road of town.
Mm-hmm.
Minwa nemud uma minawa ningwa nekud gi kimewan uma numaya. So he said,
Just got done raining a little while ago. Or
Zaagi'igining. Is that mosquitoes?
yeah.
Zaagi'igining.
Speaking of mosquitoes, I wonder if anybody ever had a mosquito. They used to make mosquito tents. They used to call them zaagi'igining.
Zaagi'igining.
Yeah, that's a tent. We had a white one that was like a tent. Me and Squeak used to like to play in there, crawl around, and so we bumped heads, and then my mom made us quit crawling around in our zaagi'igining. But zaagi'igining, that's a mosquito. Okay.
Oh, okay. And his friend said, I understand most of it. Gida tun, gibetushkigun, agwajing, gakina agewak, zaagi'igining da majawak, binjiman damawat, gibetushkigun, shimuwegwa. So,
Put your shorts outside and we'll chase the mosquitoes away.
is that what he said?
Yeah.
And Charles Gikadu Wayahe Nimbush Cup Oma Nimbush Cup Oma. I burst out laughing here.
Mm-hmm.
Gee, that guy knows a lot of old Indian humor that
Mm-hmm.
Isaac Kingbird
Yeah.
and Charles
Mm-hmm.
they do it all in the language too. That's why
Yeah. Nobody really understands.
nobody can really translate or. But yeah, because you hear the Majawuk in there, like,
They're going away after
Go-
this. They smell that.
yep, Zaagi'igining is mosquitoes, Da Majawuk going away. Gakina, all of them? Or
Yeah.
like,
Kina, all of them.
Kina, all of them. Igawig, Zaagi'igining, Da Majawuk, Binjaman, Damud,
They
Gibitush,
smell your shorts or your bloomers or something. So they go away. Binjamandan means like smell something.
Binjam.
Binjamandan.
Like when you said smell good, that's Minno Taguzi?
No,
No,
Mino Magusi.
Minno Maguzi.
Magus is smell. Another word for Mino Magusi is if somebody smells good.
So when he says Binjaman, Damud, is they smell?
Yeah.
They smell. They smell Gibitush, Chichigan, Chip, Muwegwak.
Yeah.
Jeez. Oh, that's funny.
When I listen, I read there, I kind of have to because they're different dialect, but you can pick out words in there that you have on our reservation.
Well, it's funny you say that because, yeah, they are. I think they're Red Lake dialect,
Mm-hmm.
but you can translate it no matter what,
Mm-hmm.
and that's pretty cool. But yeah, I learned a lot from those two, Charles and Isaac, because I try to make it like they'll do that once or twice a day. They'll go back and forth in the language through writing it on Facebook, and all, like I said, sometimes I'll have a little bit of trouble, but most times I can just kind of pick out the words and then kind of just fill out the rest.
It's like I was saying, you got to know what wash is ZB, and then you can see noggin in there. Wash dishes, ZB noggin, ZB, ZB, gije. Take a shower, wash yourself, gije, ZB. And like there used to be a lady, my friend's mother. Her Indian name was Asabikone.
River lady?
Wash
Oh,
lady.
wash lady.
Yeah.
ZB.
Asabikone, or it could be river. Maybe it was river lady. ZB is a river. Maybe that's what somebody named her. Lady from the river, ZB. Yeah, see, Lost River is, the river is ZB. Like that, Emily has a little boy, his name is River. That's his real name. And when I went up to Brent's and stayed there, he would be there. Then I called him ZB. ZB, that's a river in Indian. And Brody thought that was his Indian name, ZB, and he liked that name. Because I said that means river, ZB.
How would you say I'm at the river. Would you say zaagi'igining? No.
zaagi'igining.
Zaagi'igining. Yeah, that's all it takes is just, kind of
Listen.
listening.
Isn't done when you hear Indian word. Like what is like they said Nana. I can't remember what they said that was a name for a Nanabuju. What did its name out to in English?
Man bozo.
Yeah, Nanabozo. They say that. I read that somewhere. The investor left that where I can't remember now. I'm getting so I can't remember until I sit and think for a while. That's the thing of getting old. Can't think for a little while. You wanna read these two? Read from here to here.
Sama,
Long ago.
Adazukan,
Yeah.
tobacco's past or tobacco's stories. That's how you'd say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Asama, Adazukan.
Yeah.
Okay. Oneida creation story, how tobacco was created. The excerpt below is from the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin's website, The Creation Story. This is one of many versions of the Oneida creation story. The Iroquois people all have their own similar, yet different version of how creation started. Long ago, before there was any land here, there was water all over. The only things were the creatures that lived in the water and birds that flew above the waters. Now further above there was land which was called the sky world, and there were beings living there, and these beings had supernatural powers. In the middle of the land was a great tree which gave them their light. There were many different things that grew on the tree. This is where they retrieved things to sustain their lives. Now it was that no one could cut into the tree, or a great punishment would be given to that person. Whoever was caught harming the tree, there was this couple and the young woman was to have a baby. This woman started to crave things, and one of the things she craved was the roots and bark from the tree. So she asked her husband to go and gather this for her. He was afraid to get these items because he would surely be punished. He waited for the people to go from the tree. As they all left, he went over and started digging. As he was digging by the tree, suddenly the ground caved in and it left a big hole. The man got very scared of what had happened, so he went back and told his wife. She asked if he got what she had wanted. He told her he did not because he had gotten so scared. She was very upset and said she would get it herself. As she arrived at the tree, she saw the hole and went over to get a closer look. As she was looking through, she saw all the water down below. She did not know that her husband followed her. As she was looking through the hole, she slipped and fell. As she was falling, she tried to grab hold of something so she would not fall. All she could grab was some of the ground and roots of the tree, but she could not hold on and she fell through. As she fell through, the birds and water animals saw the light through the hole. They could see something falling. The birds were appointed to see what was falling, and they found that it was a woman from the sky world. They sent one of the birds back down to the water animals to see which one of them would be able to support her upon their back. After they talked amongst themselves to see who would be able to support her, They turned to the great turtle and she agreed to support the woman. The birds went up to bring the woman down safely and placed her on the turtle's back. As the woman was falling, she got very frightened and fainted. She awoke on the turtle's back, and all she saw was water, the birds and the water animals. She asked where she was, and the animals told her that she fell through a hole, and they put her on the turtle's back. She looked to where they had pointed in to see the light shining through the hole. She asked the animals if they knew where there would be any mud or dirt, so she could mix it with the medicines she had grabbed as she fell through the hole. Some of the animals said they were not sure, but there might be some at the bottom of the water. First, the otter said he would go down and see if there was any. Then he went under water and was gone. Everything waited patiently for the otter, or everyone waited patiently for the otter. Soon he came floating to the top, but didn't get any mud. So the loon said it would try and went underwater. Everyone waited patiently for the loon to come up, and soon she came up, and she too did not have any mud either. So the beaver said he would try, and away he went. Soon he came up with none and felt very sad. The woman told him not to feel bad and that he had tried his best. So the muskrat said he would try, and he went down. For a long time the muskrat was gone, and they became worried. Then the muskrat came floating to the top with a little bit of dirt in between his claws. The woman took it and mixed it with the medicines. She then began to rub the mixture in a counterclockwise direction, and the land began to expand out. Then the woman began to gather things, for she was getting ready to give birth to a child. As the time came, she gave birth to a girl, and she was very happy. The woman and her daughter walked about the earth. She taught her about the different things that grew and what they were used for. As the days and years went by, the young girl grew to womanhood, and she was very beautiful. As she was walking far from her mother, there was a man that appeared before her. The girl became terrified at seeing this man, and she fainted. As she came to, she noticed that there were these two arrows on her stomach. One had a sharp point on it, and the other was dull. She took them home with her. She told her mother of this man that she had seen, and of the two arrows he had left behind. Her mother explained to her that they were from Sky World, and that the man that came to her was the West Wind, and that she would have two children. Each arrow represented one of the two children. As the days went by, the young woman did not feel too good because there was a great commotion within her body. When it was finally time to give birth, the right-handed twin came out first, the natural way, while the left-handed twin had seen light coming from her mouth and wanted to go that way. As he went that way, he came out her side by her armpit, and it killed their mother. Right away, the left-handed twin spoke up and said it was the right-handed twin that killed their mother. Then the right-handed twin spoke up and explained to their grandmother what had happened. He told her that he and his brother were arguing about who was going to be born first. The right-handed twin told his grandmother that he was going to be born the way all children are born, and his brother said he was going any way he wanted to, and he came out of their mother's armpit, and that is what killed her. But the grandmother did not believe the right-handed twin and took the side of the left-handed twin. She told the right-handed twin as part of his punishment he had to bury their mother, and angrily he started to bury his mother. As he finished, there immediately grew corn, squash, and Indian tobacco. Teresa K. Barber, Oneida / Chippewa. It says that Oneida people still grow tobacco. The United Nations Organic Farm grows tobacco among other crops and provides it to tribal members, but does not sell it. Ojibwe people also grew it for ceremonial purposes, she says, and several Ojibwe reservations have different entities that grow it, as well as individuals.
That's almost like that story about that we tell in Manabushu about how the little Ushashk, the muskrat, went down and got the little bit of mud, and he saved, but he died, and he saved save the land, or I don't know, can't remember the whole story, but that you know, other reservations have kind of like, they're, you know, little different stories, but they seem like they're all the same, like these little water animals going down and getting the mud, you know, like the loon and the muskrat. So there's the otter, Nigig is the otter, and muskrat, Oshashkin, and Mong, three. I don't know, I can't remember. I remember that story about all of them. Story, you can't tell it to someone. But like this one here is just a story from some lady that.
Yeah, that's the Oneida. Their story, their telling of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no mention, I don't think, of Nanabuju in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Iroquois.
You gotta read you gotta read them till you get them right.
Yeah, they're right. I
I
think.
mean, they're right, but toward Indian, you're gonna.
Oh, okay. So I have this project that I'm starting very soon. I plan on creating content through social media, web to put on our website, Bois Forte webpage soon. Language content videos, maybe like 15 to 30 seconds long, that display use of language with like fitness, cooking, maybe cleaning, just everyday aspects of life, you know. And I have this core belief that if you incorporate the language in everything that you do, you know, eventually it'll stick. And my dad surprised me last night. He called after I got done playing basketball and tried really hard to only use the language, and he did.
Mm-hmm.
I was really fascinated with that.
Yeah, we used to do that.
Yeah, and I just think for so long, you know, it's been suppressed for so long, it kind of makes it hard to open back up. But the way he was speaking was pretty good.
He calls me, no matter what he calls me every morning, and he don't speak English, he speaks Indian, and I speak it back to him, you know, and same way with Clardy, and I speak Mark too. He'll say, Bonnie, what are you doing? Oh, Colleen, Nikisa, and they had to go in the mud Kabegi shippers. That's all I do is sit all day. Kinuki na, I tell him, yeah. He said, Chikami sin Iman and Kinoki. I'm working here at the big lake in Duluth. And you know, and I try to talk to them in Indian on the phone, where I just use words, or like Claudine called. She said, oh, there's 15 elders. Midaswe Ashinana Nachi Ayaag Ogijatu Na Pasties, she said. 15 elders got together this morning, 5 o'clock. Nanan Deboiga Nat Nagijatu Na Pasties, she said. 5 o'clock we got up and they made 800, she said. 800 all the elders. And I said, oh, I bet it's good to get to be with all them elders. She said, yeah, there's like 10 in the kitchen, and they're out on the other side making them pasties, she said. And the elders sell them to downtown. And she said they use money for elder things, you know, when they go on trips of once a month or something, like they go to other casinos or where there's something good. But yeah, she bought up some pasties that she made one time. No, they were good. They're homemade.
Yeah.
And I said, that's good to have 15 elders all working together. Go in Anishinaabemoin, they don't, none of them speak the language. He in the Michigan, he lost it in Michigan.
Whatever.
Maybe
Whatever. Whatever happened to? Remember that one guy that came over? I used to work with him dealing blackjack over there. What was his? He was the young guy. Remember, he was studying with one of the elders back there. What's his name? He must teach at their tribal college over there, I bet. Do you remember?
No, Howard.
You met him one time here. He came to our community and he did a prayer down at the whatever gathering that he was here for. And I want to say Justin, but it's not Justin.
Howard.
No, young guy. He's about a little younger than I am, maybe about 5-6 years younger than I am.
Can't remember names.
I'll look him up. I'll find him. But I know he's doing his best over there to, teach. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where Daylene worked in college. And they had her doing, like, putting English stories into Anishinaabe.
Dale. That's his name, I think. I can't think of his last name. It'll come to me.
They said there's, like, Daylene, just because she was dark and she looked really like a full-blood Indian, they thought she knew everything. And she said, I'm just learning too, she said. I know a lot, but I don't know, I'm not fluent, she said. I just know this and that.
Well, the other thing that I like what they do there is they bring in a traditional healer. I think he's
once
from
a month, yeah.
Once a month, yeah. And so anybody that has ailments, they can utilize the traditional medicine. Yeah. So.
Arlene went to that.
I'm trying to remember. All this stuff's on the edge of my brain today. Maybe I didn't sleep enough. But yeah, that's something I'd always like to see. I know out west they were trying to get them certified or licensed or something. Yeah, everything's got to go like legal and all that kind of stuff, right? So they're trying to develop a method to sanction, I guess would be the word, individuals that were traditional healers. Because obviously you're not going to a university to get your degree or nothing. And of course, a lot of that, you know what I mean? I mean, it doesn't like make it any more special, you know what I mean? That these guys are going and learning whatever Western medicine and how to be a doctor. And, it's funny because nowadays it seems like at least for a while anyway, I'd probably say since the mid-90s, they've always adopted a philosophy of listening to the patient, because the patient basically knows more about what's going on with them than the doctor would, of course, So they always listen to the patient, and, you could go into there and say, hey, I got this going on. And then your doctor will recommend some medications, right? Pills mostly, of course, yeah, because that's what makes money for the pharmacy industry. And so you're basically doctoring yourself when you go to these Western medicine doctors nowadays. So oh yeah, I've got this ache back here, or I got this condition going on, or I'm not feeling very well. I got a fever or whatever. And so a lot of people, they know what's going on, right? So it's like, oh, I might need some antibiotics or something along those lines. At least that's my interaction with some of the doctors. And what I like about my current doc is that she's younger, right? And she knows a lot more about the latest technologies or medications or whatever it is. But I suppose I don't think that would be true with a traditional healer, only because they have all that knowledge, and they continue to grow in their practice or their skill. And so these traditional healers are just as effective as Western medicine or Western doctors. And so it's funny because I know a lot of people are reluctant, and I don't know, maybe they just use tribal money to fund that, having somebody traditional healer come up to the community and serve the people. Those that want, of course, not everybody's going to go in that direction. So, and it's hard to say whether or not where that funding comes from, because I don't think that governments have come around yet to that level of understanding our knowledge or accepting of our traditional knowledge. Because a lot of this stuff, like when COVID broke out, right? They're saying, oh yeah, sage, or that word was always in my head the last few days. Nukwesigan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we use that, I didn't know. Nobody ever told me growing up, or just anybody in medicine that I know, because I know quite a few people that have gone to medical school. They never really stressed or pointed out that sage has this disinfectant effect, and of course we use it for our mental state, right? That smell and cleaning out and cleansing and all of that. But there is an actual disinfectant type of quality that it has. And so while you're burning your sage, you're also disinfecting your home,
Remember when I told you about Lester, when the doctor told him that he was going to lose his eyesight?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he did. He burned sage on a rock, and then he put a blanket over his head, and then he said he opened his eyes and let that sage go in.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 weeks later, he went back to Dr. Siplon. He said, "What did you do to your eye?"
Mm-hmm.
He said, Your eye is good," he said.
Yeah.
And he never had that,
Yep.
And that must be something in that.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing that happened to me at Mizanobitan's funeral. Well, I've been having problems with my foot, and I was wishing somebody. I was thinking of it. Gee, I should ask someone to go get me some fresh cedar. And here Frank comes by, Frank Bardo, him and Toodles. He talked to me, and Frank said, "Hey," he said, "do you want any cedar?" He said, I took some, or I have some at my house that broke off or something. Yeah, I said. He said, "I'll bring it tomorrow." And then the next day, Anthony was outside, and then Frank bought that cedar. So yesterday, I went down my basement, which I shouldn't have, because I
Yeah.
can't walk them big long stairs.
Yeah.
So I went down there and I got my medicine pail, and I went out and I took a bunch of that cedar off that branch and I boiled it. I used spring water,
Mm-hmm.
and then I soaked my foot. I boiled it and let it cool. Then I soaked my foot last night, because my foot bothers me when I go to bed, and And I was thinking, hey, how did Frank know I needed cedar?
Mm-hmm.
And so I still have that on my stove. So when I go back again this afternoon, I'm gonna warm it up again and then soak my foot again and
Yeah.
that cedar before it gets too bad.
Yeah.
But the others, nobody believes. You gotta believe in the medicine before it'll work.
Well, the thing about it is, modern medicine or researchers have never really looked at it, for what we've used it for. I mean, they've heard stories and stuff, but it's like, oh yeah, burn sage and you're gonna, it's gonna kill bacteria and it's gonna do this, and it just never crossed their mind to do that kind of research. And so, that was something that we knew, but it's just now coming around. And so, COVID was the thing that kind of brought that whole quality out about it, and so I feel really good when I burn my sage, and I put it out there. I ask my mother to do that all the time now, and so that's just kind of how our area is. And of course you don't want illness and stuff around there. Of course we still use disinfectant, right? I mean, we wipe down our door handles and all that kind of stuff, but it helps just to know that the air that we're using has been cleansed, and it's not just a spiritual thing, which I think people have, or Western people have that view of us, like, oh yeah, that's voodoo, that's some kind of magical thing, but I think they're
like
coming.
Witchcraft.
Witchcraft, stuff like that. So and it's crazy because that's all perpetuated, or like it's been brought to the forefront because of the church, and the church has really demonized pretty much everything about our culture.
Hollywood too.
Well, yeah, they did it. They did a lot of damage, especially John Wayne. No, I'm just kidding.
Lone Ranger.
And Lone Ranger too. Yeah.
It's funny you bring that up, George, too. Sorry. Oh, Graham, do you want to say something?
Oh, every time I go by the swamp, I just look up at them trees and, oh, I wish I could get back there, because that's good medicine for stomach. Say if you can't hold nothing down, you want to throw up. That's just a stomach medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I could pick a whole big gallon of it and just keep it in my freezer
Mm-hmm.
to make it for when somebody feels like throwing up, or
Yeah.
they have stuff. That's a stomach medicine that works.
All you people, speaking of medicine, all you people on Ozempic that get that queasy feeling or that nauseous feeling from that medication, there's another one that you might be able to use to quell that I don't know, it gets to be icky. I was on it for a while. I think I did the first dosage and then I upped it a little bit, and I think I went one more, and that was just too much, where I just kind of felt like nauseous all the time. And of course it helps you not eat, right? And so you lose pounds and stuff, but at the same time you're just kind of miserable, that you something turns your stomach just by thinking about it,
Yeah, that's the way Marcy was when she was alive. She was getting just skinny.
Mm-hmm.
She said she had diarrhea, throwing up. So she called us and, "Is you know of any medicine?" So that's what we made her, that swamp berries.
Mm-hmm.
And we took her a quart of it, and she didn't even drink that quart, and she was okay.
Mm-hmm.
She was, after that, she said she quit having the feelings, and then she started gaining weight.
Mm-hmm.
She was up driving her car and coming to Nett Lake. And that's how I know that, and that's really good medicine. I tried it once.
Well, I think part of that whole process of demonizing it too is creating an opportunity for these companies to make profit on having us only depend on the pharmacy industry. Take a pill. I mean, I think for me, I'm currently on, I think I take 5 in the morning and I take 6 at night. So that's like 11 medications, right?
Yeah, that's where I'm up to 13 medications.
Yeah. So a lot of this stuff I do believe, I mean, granted it's convenient, you know, and they have it available and they've done the research and scintillated the ingredients and, you know, buffered everything so that, you know, it's something we can consume. And, but at the same time, you know, you can go out into, you know, around us in nature and find these same remedies. So I always keep that in mind, you know. I mean, yeah, it's convenient, you know. I just go to the pharmacy and pick up my meds and rock on, you know.
You know, there's old home remedies too, like what my mom and grandma used to use. She'd use pork skin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, pork skin. And then if you had like a blister or something,
Yeah.
in that, she'd put that pork skin over that with a bandage.
Mm-hmm.
And that pork skin would suck all that infection out of your sore. Then plus she'd make a dough with baking soda and put that on. She'd put like grease on that little bitty piece of dough, like around like a quarter.
Yeah.
And she'd stick that on your, and that would suck all that, whatever you had in you, it would suck it out.
You know, my mom just told me, you just reminded me, she did a banana skin.
Mm-hmm.
She put a little banana, I can't remember what it was. I don't think it was a wart. I think it was some kind of, something on her hand. Anyway, she said she put that banana skin on there. She heard about it. I don't know where she heard about it, but she put that banana skin on there. And she said by the evening, it was gone. Isn't that crazy? I mean, that's kind of like that story I tell about Adam Lusher when I was helping him doctor over in Michigan. And that little girl, she had really, really bad warts like all over the place, you know. And when he gave her that that salve that he made, and I don't know what it would have been made out of. It looked kind of fatty to me, you know. So when you said pork fat or pork, that's probably what maybe what it was. I don't know if it was deer fat or bear fat or what it was, but he made a salve out of it. And when she went ahead and put it on, he told her to use it. And he said, "Go ahead. I've asked it to do what it does and to help you, but you're the only one that this will work for. You know, it won't if you give it to your friend or you give it to whoever else. It's not going to work." And then also he said one other thing about it was that she had to be careful about it. Of course, there was like a responsibility on her part too, right? So he told her, he said, "You can't leave this open. You can't. You got to make sure when you put it away that you lock it. You know, that you make sure that it's nice and tight." Because he said this will want to leave. It wants to get out of there. He said, but it's going to help you. He said, and then once you're done with it, it's gonna. I don't think it evaporated or nothing, but the way he made it sound, it's like it's gonna get away.
Like
you know,
that medicine has like a spirit, and
yeah,
it naturally wants to get out, or
do its job and then get on its way. You know, so. But when she used it, she just started crying, like really crying really hard, and I was wondering why. And then she looked at her hands and her arm, or upper arm or lower arm, and all them warts were gone. You know.
Wow.
I know, and I was just like, "Holy, am I seeing this?" You know, because she was really shy about it, right? She didn't want anybody to see it, right?
Yeah.
And her mother was getting doctored for growth on her neck, and that was that same thing that you were talking about, where they have that black, sooty in that case, it was like really sharp.
Mhm.
Remember Spider Venom?
Mhm.
Yeah, that Spider-Man show.
Yep.
It was kind of like that, where he was like a liquid uh, being, but is kind of like a silvery black.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that was the stuff that he had sucked out of it, you know. So, and then when you said, oh, it was just a sooty looking
Yeah, when they
liquid.
down the way Lester, they used deer, they used bones,
Mm-hmm.
and when they took that, he had a white bowl, pure white bowl. He put that bone in that water and kind of wash it off. Then he'd go to work on Lester's lung again,
Mm-hmm.
and he put it in there. When he got done, there was little black soot
Mm-hmm.
all in that water.
Yep.
Like that's what he got out of his.
Mm-hmm.
Got out of his.
Well, there's a lot of things that could happen, you know, especially when all these spirits are involved, you know, and you really got to be, of course, respectful, right? You got to use your language, right? You gotta be observant all the time, you know, like they talk about keeping your hair really nice, you know, and to keep it. I mean, it's not just to look nice; it's to be respectful, you know, about yourself, and to have that pride and to have that power, I guess, that power that it gives you. And so I don't know if people really know about why we have our hair in such a way, but that's what it is. It's part of us that we have pride in, and that shows our own self-respect, you know, when we interact with one another. So I'm trying to remember what got me off on the soapbox. Sorry about that, folks. I think it's time for a break here. We'll freshen up our tea and coffee, and I'm going to try to get you guys some info on the weather and that.
Now when we have that.
fun type stuff. I know Terry likes to do head and tails. That's how it's a good one. And then, of course, camping is available. And if you want more information, you can contact Maria Deegan at 218-750-7772. And then, or you can get hold of Tracy, the big boss, 218-780-1478. Immediate ding, Ogima. Immediate ding. So she's the big owl boss over there. Anonymous, that guy got. Okay, all right, we're back. We got about 18 and a half minutes to go here, and we'll get rolling. What did you guys figure out then? Where do you want to go? You got some stuff you want to cover?
Oh, yeah. I was just thinking about this, what we could cover on our, at that meeting. You know, Barry should have invited him and Jake, but, well, they still could, you know, invite other people, and just talk to them and tell them you want to come. And I think a lot of stuff should be talked about, like school or there, fear, suicide, alcoholism, drug abuse, loss of identity, racism, education, employment. You know, all of this should be, and then, you know, well, I don't think we're going to get rid of wage, mortality rate, preservation and urban life, assimilation, treaties, trusts, socially, floodplain, Chippewa, Ojibwe, and Anishinaabe. We all should be Anishinaabe. We have our own language, customs, and tradition. Anishinaabe means no one knows which one they don't know. But that's a lot of things that this thing can be used. Although we never follow them, you know, we are not looking at the future for our own children, grandchildren, or great grandchildren. If we lose our language, we will not get any help from the federal government. Language is one of the four legs of sovereignty. Language comes first. Land, bloodline, self-governance. Well, you know, even probably if we do have this, you know, I don't, change is hard, you know.
Yeah, and the way I've seen things happening recently, you know, I think it was about almost 8 years ago, 5 years ago, you know, I belonged to a group of, or KBFT belongs to a group of radio stations, community stations, 17 or 16 other stations. And that's one of the things that, you know, they've been really observant about is what happens in the state legislature. And at that time, it was predicted that there would be a lot more focus on Native American issues, like you're talking about the economic and the education, all of that. So health especially. And so I think what is going on is that they are making monies available for tribes to develop these wish lists, you know, that we want. And like I said, it's important that everybody gets up and shares their opinion, you know, make sure that their voice is heard. I honestly believe that they're sincere, you know, that they want to make improvements in Native Americans' lives. you know, just because of the health disparities and all of that. And I, like you said, they've always just used it as politics, or just, what do you call it? Lip service, you know, where they just say something just to say it, and then there's no follow through. Yeah. So I think that's kind of maybe in the past, and I know we've had issues with leadership, you know, in the past, way in the past, where you know, these funds would be available, and then they would only get used or repurposed by our own leaders. You know what I mean? Our own administrators. So either that, or there's always this, what is it, used to deal with favoritism, nepotism, and all that kind of stuff. You know, I mean, I don't hear too much about that anymore, but it seems like everybody's getting more educated nowadays. I always kind of tease about it now. I remember I had this woman one time, and she said, "Do you know who I am?" And I'm like, "Not really." And then she went on about her education, you know, and all this other kind of stuff about her community. She didn't say anything about her family in that, but you know, she's really proud of that, her education, you know. And I think that's important, you know, just like Lester went back and got his degree, Mizanobi tongue,
Yeah.
got his degree. And you know, like even my no, but I I shouldn't say that. But there's been people that are close in my life, you know. I wouldn't necessarily call them family, but just close to me, that have gone on and gotten their college education. So now I joke, because they wonder what they're going to do, and I've been so impressed with a lot of these young folk. And I don't mean to be sarcastic or anything, but I just kind of compare it to the way it used to be, like way back in the 70s versus now, where everybody, it seems like most everybody's got a degree of some type. And there's a group of people, like you're noticing, that from economic standpoint don't have that opportunity, or weren't able to put that. They just had so many things in their way, whether it was you know, politics, or economics, or, you know what I mean. They had to worry about putting food on the table and feeding their kids, rather than going out and taking classes and all that kind of stuff. You know? So, and of course, this whole thing about uh, vocational training, VOTEX, and people getting you know, into the trades, you know, like pipe fitters, steel workers, carpentry, all that kind of stuff. So I think that's really good that we can work on forwarding our population, our native people, into these various aspects of life, you know, and not just focus on universities and colleges and that type of education. Because, you know, some people know right off the bat. I struggled. I didn't know what the heck I wanted to do, you know, but I was lucky I took enough American Indian Studies courses, you know, that I could get my degree from UMD that way. But yeah, so I think this meeting next week is a good opportunity, you know, for a lot of players like you're thinking, come in and share their thoughts about not only just the language, but you know, a lot of these disparities and stuff. Because I know it's important to you. I mean, you're consistently bringing up these issues. I appreciate that.
You know, when me and Claire first started, but we only went to the 5th grade, and before we could get a job, we had to get our GED. So we went through that, and we went to Virginia. Some guy would come here to do our math. Then we went there to take the big test, and we both passed. And by then, I was working at Head Start, and that's why I had to get my GED to work with that education. And then pretty soon, it started going up. We had to have a early childhood development paper. So they gave us, we got training for that. They were called the CPA, and we got that, and it kept on, going. They wanted more. So, like in college, they wanted us to go to college, but then me and her and your mom and we went to Lakehead University summer to get our degrees in teaching, and then that's as far as I went. And I worked until 43 years in early 20. But back then, I know, things change from day to day, except for some things that don't change, especially on life. But,
Well, I think we need to assert our sovereignty. We need to assert our way of life, um, and stress what it is that's going to carry us through, and we define that, and the government, whether it's on the state level, they're kind of coming around, like I said, but on the federal level, it seems that they're slowly learning about the differences and accepting those differences among the people that they serve, so it's not just an American style, and I think when people hear that, they're always afraid that we're trying to be separate, but we're not, we want to be part of, we taught the founders of this country how to be, and to incorporate a lot of our teachings into their way of governing themselves. And so I think that's the part that where we come back around, and then there's an appreciation. And that's all we're asking for, just to appreciate us.
And that's all I want to do is just language, some of the language,
Mhm.
I don't care whoever all goes to
Mm-hmm.
just so they can learn their language.
Right. Yep.
But I suppose maybe things will change in the future.
Well, I think the people that bring up these separatist type ideas, they're the ones that want to see that. People just want to be heard. They just want to have some input into the world around them that they interact with. So I think that's all that people are asking for, and it should be just a basic human right. Yeah, we have our own language, we have our own ways, but we understand that we're part of this larger, you know, country, this larger whatever it is that's out there. But just to say, hey, we appreciate everything that you provided for us, and I think that's kind of the reason why they're coming back to us again, is just to they've kind of they're kind of losing their direction, or what I mean. There's no more money to be made on like even their movies, especially their movies. I mean, they keep coming out with Rocky shows. They keep coming out with all these old ones that are just rehashed again. Like some of the westerns that used to be from way in the past. Like Gunsmoke and all that. I'm waiting for them to come back with that. But that's why they're looking to Indian people or Native people, just because we have the same ideas we've always held on to.
I know I went to the, ceremony, but I went to the school the other day to watch, Asian, doing the thing with the kids, and I'm so used to talking Indian. I met one of the teachers up there. I forget what her name is. And he was walking me. I was meeting her. I was and I said, Igawaba man, I told her. And she answered me right back. She said, Igawaba man,
Mm-hmm.
And them teachers must know a lot of the language.
Mm-hmm.
They're around.
Yeah.
Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
So there must be a lot of Indians, especially the teachers that know a lot of the language.
Yep.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I said they should have like a little speaker coming up from kids come in and say, Geshev, good morning. And they, I'm glad, G can't Amago. I'm glad you came to school today. And, Igawagaman, I'll see you again. And then throughout the day, just have some little talks on sentences where it's going on up there and a good speaker,
Mm-hmm.
like sentences. And I asked that years and years and years, nobody, Kawinawio Bizendasi. No one listens to me.
You know what? I said a thought passed through my head. I think we got more work for you. I want to work with these kids. We just talked with boys and girls the other day, and so we want to get working on some projects. And I just have them talk here after it shows them. Speaking of which, we only got like about 45 seconds, so I'll let you close it up.
Ishigat, that means next week. Ishigat. Yeah, that's next week.
There, see, I learned a new word.
Ishigat.
Ishigat.
C-H-I. Ishig. That's the week.
There you go. A little gem for you there for next week. Oh, okay. You guys make it a good one. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your Memorial weekend. Cook up a lot of food and yeah. Yep. All right.